To find out whether the aqua sensor is working correctly, we need to understand and learn the amount of water going through the boiler. So as always, read the manual or contact the manufacturers to see exactly what it should be. So everything is done in stages, so we need to find out in the cold water tap only at the kitchen sink. We must always do that one as the primary tap. We have to measure that we've got adequate flow going in, and there's various ways we can do this. If you have enough room, there's a 2 litre empty milk bottle, or better still a 1 litre, and then we're going to measure how many seconds it takes to reach that level. Another way, even better, is simply having a measuring jug which goes to 1 litre, and again we'll put it underneath the cold tap full on, and then we'll count how many seconds it takes to reach 1 litre, and then divide that figure into 60, and that will give us the answer of the flow rate. The best way for installers, which you should have, is a weir cup. And again, we'll put this on somewhere high, maybe at 16, underneath the cold tap, and we're looking to gradually lower this down so the water doesn't quite overflow, and that's our incoming water main. And then we can turn the cold tap off. Now we repeat the process with the hot tap. So that will be higher because obviously there's going to be resistance in the boiler. So we can put this underneath the hot tap, turn it on full. If we go back to the jug here again, so all we do there is to count how many seconds it takes to 1 litre. For example, if it takes 6 seconds divided into 1 minute, 60 is 10. So that would be a 10 litre flow rate. And if that corresponds with the manufacturer's requirements, that's perfect. That's how it should be. But if it's a lot lower than that, then something is wrong inside the boiler. And in our green fault codes book on page 56, where we go into Diagnostics, which is the upper level, and D36 gives us the litres per minute that's actually going through the boiler, and then I'll show you a picture of that display and proves that it is 10 litres or 11 or 12, whatever it is. That'll tell us that we have the right and the correct flow rate, and the aqua sensor is working fine. If it isn't, I'll show you how to actually measure it using volts DC and hertz. This video is all about the aqua sensor, and it's located here in the center, right next to the diverter valve. And the wires going from there goes to this multi-plug directly underneath it, and it's the top row. There's 3 colors. So if I show you on the old one, now a lot of these used to have problems with this gauze in the filter because bits of grit from the street would go in here and then ruin the turbine. And we don't repair these, we have to replace. And it's very easy. You just press down on the center and we can remove the sensor, fit the new one of these, and then plug the sensor back in again, and that was the end. And you got 3 colors wires. Black is earth, red is 4 volts from the PCB into the sensor, and green is 2 volts leaving the aqua sensor once the hot tap is turned on. So it's all located down here, and in the following videos I'll show you exactly how to test in various methods, whether we use volts DC, hertz, and the displays. So it's in the diagnostics level, which is D36 for the actual flow rates in litres per minute. So this is the beginning of the Vaillant Aqua Sensor. The location of the aqua sensor, so it looks like this, which I've got close up so you can see better on the cutaway, is located in the center. So what you've got here is the pipe here from the street going through the aqua sensor, and it goes in that direction, goes across the plate-to-plate heat exchanger, and then comes out here and then goes to the taps. So it's directly in line is a multi-plug, and there are two sets of colours. So the colours for the Aqua Sensor is black, which is earth, green is the correct measurement, and the red is the voltage going from the board into there, and that's always 4 volts. So as soon as you switch it on and you measure DC from here to there, you do that. So we don't measure things up here at all. All our measurements are always done on the PCB, because that tells us that the wire going to and from the component is also being measured and correct. So don't unplug things and do it up that end. That's really not the correct way. So on the next stage, I'm going to show you how to do this with volts DC on our auto ranging multimeter. When we're trying to test these very delicate and precise components, we need to have the correct multimeter. And for this particular job, we're going to need a auto ranging multimeter with AC, DC and Hertz. That's the important one, is Hertz. So now I'm going to show you how to do it in DC. So we'll put our selector switch into DC, and we've got our 2 leads. Now, because this particular part, the Aqua Sensor, as many, is got the black wire, is earth. So what we can use is a crocodile clip, which I've got here, attach that to the probe and put that where the yellow and green wires are all. So all the boilers have got something connections where they've got the earth wire connected. That's a very good one, and then we can check much easier with just one lead. So it's the top lot that's got the black, red and green. There is another lot down here underneath which is also black, red and green, but that comes from the pressure sensor. So we're looking at the Aqua Sensor here. So it's telling us the red one is the voltage going into it from the board. So all we're going to do is put that one on the red, and we can see here we've got 4 volts DC. To measure what's coming out, we need to put this into the green and then turn the tap on. So never connection up here. So where you've got all these plugs here, don't use the multimeter up there or unplug it, etc. All our measurements are always done on the here, because if I just measure across the end, I don't actually measure the lead going in, through and out again. So all our measurements are done down here, and all I'm going to do is to turn the tap on and look for my 2 volts, because it's 4 in and 2 out to earth. So straight away you can see it's jumped straight to 2, so I know that the correct flow rate there is 10 litres, because that's the flow rate for it. And that's really as easy as that and to follow. And then on the next clip I'll show you how to do it in Hertz, which is really the correct method, and it gives us a lot more information than just an on and off. When we measure Hertz, it's exactly the same as DC. We put the black lead onto the earth connection, and the red one is going to go into the green wire, and all we need to do is to switch this over to Hertz, and that's it. That's the setup. The drawing that you need is this one here from Vaillant Technical, which I'm going to do a close-up for you so you can actually see the figures a little bit better. The target that we're looking for is 85 Hertz is 10 litre flow rate. So we'll turn the tap on and we'll see if we can hit 85 or whatever the figure is. And I will do close-up so you can see exactly what's going on. But here we are, we're going around 70, so we're under that 10 litre flow rate. That could be because I haven't turned the tap on fully. But there are all sorts of levels that we can see that 52 Hertz is about 8 litres or etc, etc. So this is a really good way of doing it. And as I said earlier, really as a breakdown engineer, an auto ranging multimeter with Hertz is the tool. Nothing else is even touching, and of course there is a category number 3, and here's a close-up of what should be written on your multimeter. But here we are, so we can see exactly how many hertz it's working and the flow rate that it corresponds to. So that concludes how to test the Aqua sensor in hertz.